Hi everyone, it's Matt from The Pen Habit. Glad to have you back for another video. And in today's video, we're going back to China. So today's pen is going to be the Duke 901. This is another pen I borrowed from my father's collection, and sub $10 pen. I think he paid $7.95 or $8.95 or something for it. Had it shipped here to the US for free. This is only my second interaction with the Hero pen. I like the pen, the nib has some issues. So we'll talk through that. So quick overview of the design of the pen. Lovely kind of fan fold medallion here on the top, which I like quite a bit. Black ring on the top, a gold ring that holds the clip, or that is right where the clip is. The clip does pop out a little bit, and I can't tell if that's a design feature or a manufacturing issue. But it won't come all the way out, but it's almost as if it's expandable in case you want to put it in, like on your jeans pocket or something. Probably my favorite feature of this pen is the gold wave motif on the black field. I just really like that. I think it looks nifty. You've got kind of this aluminum siding style gold covering on the cap, and then it says Hero 901 on the cap band. Got a gold ring here, black paint down the side of the pen, and another gold accent at the bottom with a flat bottom on the pen. It's a pop top pen, metal bodied, so it is a little heavy. You've got a two-tone nib. It's a number 5 size nib, so this could be replaced with any other standard number 5 size nib that just says Iridium Point Germany, so an IPG nib. Plastic section here. You've got more gold and then this kind of Chinese design motif, which I'll see if I can show you here out of the light reflection. So interesting little motif there. And it is a cartridge converter pen. Now I have the converter from a Duke pen in here. The one that came with actually fell apart on me and got ink everywhere. So I tossed that one away, but it is a standard international. So any standard international converters or cartridges should work in this pen without any problem. Aside from that, the converter issue and the little clip issue, I like this pen. I like the design. You know, I'm not a big fan of kind of understated gold and black, so there's a little bit of gaudiness factor to it, but it's pretty gaudiness, which at least it is to me. So I like the design, and I like that it's not just your standard cigar shape. I like that it's got kind of a unique shape and some design features to it. It feels very solid. It's a heavy pen. It's, as I mentioned, metal bodied. It's one of the heavier metal bodied pens that I've seen, but it feels solidly made. So the barrel and the cap don't twist around willy-nilly. The snap on and off is very solid. I like the pen quite a bit from a design perspective. As I mentioned before, the nib's got some issues. We'll get to that in a second. So measurements. You're looking at 122 millimeters uncapped, which is nice and reasonable. I wouldn't use this pen capped or posted. 144 with the cap on or posted, and it will post, but fairly securely, but it's really long. It's 167, and it feels just a little too back heavy to me to be written with posted. It's not how I would use it. The barrel the section is 9.5 millimeters right in the middle. Barrel is 12.7, and the cap is 13.1 millimeters. And then the weight. So you're looking at 32 grams uncapped, which is fairly heavy for an uncapped pen. Add another 18 for the cap itself, which will bring you up to 50 grams, which is fairly heavy for a pen, especially if you're going to do long writing sessions. So those are the stats. Now let's do some writing, and I can show you why the nib has some issues. So we are looking at the Hero 901. And we've got a medium. This may be more of a fine. It's hard to tell, but it's for now we'll say a medium steel nib. Now, I don't know, I'm going to not talk when I tell you the name of the ink. I want you to listen to the sound of the nib on the paper, and you'll start to hear where problem number 1 is. So I'm going to move this up just a touch. It's pretty scratchy. That's problem number 1. Now, I haven't touched the nib yet, done any work to it, but there will be videos on when I do the work. I'm going to do a video on what I do so people can see how I adjust my nibs. Paper is a Rhodia dot pad. So let's do our quote here. So, as you can hear, this is a pretty noisy nib. There's some scratchiness there. It's okay going this direction. It's really bad going this direction. Down, it's pretty scratchy. Up, it's really dry. So it's inconsistent. So if I do a little bit of a wetness test here, it's not terribly wet, which is probably contributing to some of the scratchiness. A wetter pen would take care of that, certainly. Well, would help that, certainly, help the nib to hydroplane. But this nib probably needs to be both adjusted and smoothed. And for a lot of these inexpensive pens, that's not uncommon. Now, I've said this before in other videos, but probably the very first thing I would do if this were my pen is go to Franklin Christoph's website or Edison's website and order a number 5 nib from them and replace this with that number 5 nib. Their nibs are so good, especially Franklin Christoph's number 5 nib, which I have on another Hero pen, and it's one of my favorite writers. The nib would cost twice as much as the pen did to get it shipped to you. The pen to get it shipped is $8. The nib's going to be 15 to 20. But you put a Franklin Christoph or an Edison nib in a Hero pen, you're going to have a pen that writes like a dream, if my previous experience is any indication. This isn't my pen though, so I won't be doing that. Instead, I'm just going to do some adjustments to the nib, and there'll be other videos that show what I do. In terms of nib or line variation, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit, but this is a pretty rigid nib. And you'll notice the smooth feed on the bottom goes almost all the way up to the top of the nib. So that's not terribly common. If you look at, for instance, this is a Duke that I reviewed, you can see that, it ends quite a bit further from the tip of the nib. There's just not a lot of give to this nib, which isn't terribly surprising. Upside down writing, you might as well not even bother because it's so dry it barely puts a line down at all. You can barely see it. So, I like the pen. I like the feel of the pen in my hand. The nib has to go or has to be worked on. So, it's a nice pen. Is it my favorite pen? No. Would I buy it? Probably not. I may do a little coda to this video after I've adjusted the nib and let you know if my opinion's changed. If not, you'll find out in the nib repair videos that I'm going to do. So anyway, that's been my review of the Hero 901. As always, if you want to join the conversation, please follow the link down in the description below over to the Pen Habit blog and join us over there. Or you can discuss on Facebook or Twitter or Google+. All the links are down in the description below as well. As always, I really do appreciate you joining us here at the Pen Habit. If you have any questions, Feel free to ask them, and we'll see you here next time on The Pen Habit. Bye. And stop calling me Shirley.